Hey UTV Boondockers, so in today's episode, we're going to install this Ehaho 10.5-inch subwoofer. If your machine just needs a little bit more bump, this is going to fill that void for you. What we're going to do is we're going to unbox it, see all the parts that it has, we're going to go through the install, tell you the tools you need, any extra supplies, and then we're going to see how it sounds. So stay tuned, can't wait. Okay, this comes with pretty much everything you need. You've got your RCA cables, so these will typically go to the back of the stereo, but there's another option I'll cover in a second. You have the positive wire, you have the negative wire, you have some tips for the wires. This is the remote cable, little RJ11, looks like a phone. That plugs into here, and then this for your remote sub, so you could control the volume from however far that reaches. Your inline fuse for your positive, this will go off to your battery. And then the blue remote cable. So this goes typically to a radio and signals the amp to turn on. So that way you've got power and a ground, but this is the little bugger that says, hey, make the boom. And then of course you got some brackets right here and another cable. We have yet to discover what it's for, but probably pretty simple. Of course it comes with the remote and the sub, everything you need. The amp is built in, which is super cool. Instruction manual, and then this little guy. This is pretty cool. So what this will allow you to do is take your speaker outputs and turn them into RCA jacks for this guy. Because typically you're going to hook this into a back of a radio, which has RCAs. That's typically how the amps work. But in some cases, people have a factory stereo and they don't have RCAs available, or they can't get to them. So this little guy lets you do that. So let's check all this out. Let's start to install and see what we got. All right, so the tools you're going to need. First and foremost, you're definitely going to need wire strippers and crimpers. So something that has stripping ability and something that can crimp as well. I prefer this kind. I'll see if I can find this on Amazon and put a link in the description for this. The other thing you're going to need is definitely a wrench to unhook the battery. This is supposed to be hooked directly to the battery. So mine is 13 millimeter for the Polaris General. Yours may vary, but you're going to need to get a wrench for that. A screwdriver, always good. I'm using a medium Craftsman right here. So this guy, you're going to use it to connect in the power sources, the remote wire into the amp, and lots of other things. I also have a screw gun for if I'm feeling pretty lazy and I don't want to use the screwdriver, and a drill, along with some drill bits, because if you're mounting this down, you can pre-drill and then use the screws that they gave you to mount it down to whatever you're mounting it to. So you're definitely going to need those. You'll also need a butt connector. The blue ones are like a medium size. I use these for this size wire. You might be able to get away with a red one. They usually come in red, blue, and yellow. But blue is what I'm going to go with. I'll put a link in the description for these. Now, I'm going to need at least one to hook the remote wire into the back of my stereo. Okay? If you use other options, you're going to need more than one of these. And I suggest getting more just in case something gets damaged. You need to get another one. They're pretty cheap and very useful. So I'll put a link down there to get a box of those guys. Another thing that I like to do is use this shrink tube. Okay, so you'll slide this in and center it, and once you crimp it all together, put this on first, crimp your wires together, slide it over, and then use a lighter or a little torch and just gently go over it until it shrinks down. Keeps water out and everything. I just like to use these guys. Optional step, but I'll put a link in the description for those as well. Okay, another option, let's talk about powering this amp. So you're definitely going to need the power wire to give it power. This will go into the inline fuse. We're going to hook that up after we figure out where we're going to put it. You're also going to need the ground wire hooked up, and they give you some ends here to go into like a battery, which is the option I'm going to go with, right? We'll cover all this in the install. Now, I'm going to go with RCAs, which is the preferred method to send the audio signal from your radio to your amp. So I'm going to go with these, and then in order to power the amp, you need the blue wire. Now you're thinking, wait a minute, you just said the power. Yeah. The red and black, these actually power it, But what signals it to turn on? Because if it was on all the time, it'd be sucking juice out of your battery and it'd go dead, right? So the way it's triggered to turn on is a remote wire. Okay, so all this does, hooks to the back of your radio. There's a blue wire back there called remote. It will go directly to your amp, and then this will give the amp power when the radio is on. So then it starts to do the boom. This is the preferred method. This is what I'm going with. However, there is a couple other options. You can use this high-level input instead of RCAs, instead of the remote wire. These go to the left and right speakers. You can pick whatever speakers you want to use out of your head unit. And then these will not only provide the signal input, but they will also trigger the amp to turn on if you use those, and there's a auto power on button. So you turn that to the on position, and then the amp knows to get its signal to turn on from these wires. So those are the two variations you can do with just the amp and just some basic things. They did give you another option, sort of a third option. If you wanted to use the RCAs, because it does sound better, right? You can use this device that they've included with it. So what this does is it hooks to the back of your stereo, and the RCAs would go into here and directly to your amp. And this is powered, basically it hooks up to the back of your stereo and uses speaker wires as well. So again, you have a lot of options with this kit. I really like it. I won't be installing this, but it is very handy to have for those that just want to tap into speaker wires. So stand by. We're going to get a spot figured out where we're going to put this, and then we're going to go over the whole install of how I'm going to do this. So stay tuned. Okay, as we get a little deeper into this, we're going to need some more stuff. So you're going to need a 3mm Allen head to get into this and tighten it up. This is basically your power wire. So you're going to loosen this up. When you strip the wire back, shove it in there and tighten it down. Okay, so I've already figured out where I'm going to put this. And now I'm going to get everything prepped up so I can hook all this stuff together. The other thing too is, depending on where you want to mount this, you may need more speaker wire, or excuse me, you might need more power wire and a ground. This guy is pretty short. I mean, this might be like, I don't know, 1.5 feet. They give you quite a bit of power wire, but I'll measure that out. It'll probably show up right down here at the bottom of the screen, but you might need more. I'll put a link in the description where you can get more of this. So let's get to doing this. Don't squeeze down all the way and cut it. That will end up going over that. Good to go. Now in this case, sometimes you chip it away. You can get some liquid electrical tape. That's always good to have. I might just put a little dab on there, or you can use electrical tape. But now this is ready to mount to the battery. Next up, we're going to mount it into here. So let's get going on that. All right, these are a little floppy, so you might want to put a little silicone around there as well. Normally these are nice and tight in there, but either way, that should do good. And plus a little silicone will hold it on there, just so it won't come loose. So now we can hook this to the battery. And the other end, we will strip this one, and this will go into the amp. This here will go into the back of the amp. And then next we work on the remote wire. This too, pretty simple, but we have to go over to the rig and find the remote wire to the back of the stereo. While we're doing that, we're also going to hook up the RCAs. So I'll open these up too. All right, next up, we're going to mount these little guys here, the brackets, to mount the amp. You take these little machine screws they give you. We're going to stick them in there and tighten them in. So the setup that I have right here is I put this Boss radio in a while back. Thing works great for me. It depends on what you have, but most stereos or head units that you have will have the inputs, outputs that you need. So here I found the blue wire. This is the remote for the amp. So this one I'm just going to crimp and tie it into the blue wire they supplied. Now I already put the blue butt connector on this one. I can just slip on the shrink tube, connect it together, crimp it, and then shrink it up to keep the dust and water and whatnot out. The next thing is this here. Not sure if you could see that, but it says sub out. So this is where you'll hook your RCAs. You should have a set of RCA outputs that say sub out, and that's what you want to use. So it's pretty easy to connect it up. So we're going to go ahead and do this really quick and then go back to the amp and start wiring that part up. Okay, so now we're at the point where we're going to hook the battery up. What you do is just take off the bolt, and then you should be able to slide that in there, get it hooked up, and do the same with the positive. Now, be careful with the positive. As soon as you hook it up, don't let the other end touch something metal or you'll get some sparkies, and we don't want that. So carefully hook these guys up, make sure your positive is set aside, and then let's get the amp hooked up. So now that we've got all these done, what you're going to do is just cut a little bit off the end there on each of the power and the ground. The remote, I cut it about twice as long because I plan to fold it over, and you're going to install it into these three right down here. So it's ground on the top, the black, remote in the middle, the blue, and the red at the bottom. It's good to hook up the red first at the bottom. Just again, don't touch anything with this because now we've hooked it up to the battery. We don't want sparkies. So we do this, and then we can do the ground, and then we'll do the remote. Then you can finish up by plugging your RCAs in here. Should be a red and a black. So plug those in, and then we're going to go up and turn everything on and see how it works. So let's take a look at some of the lights. You can do different colors. You can change the brightness. We like red. Some other different modes that I'm sure show up once we get some sound going on in here. There's a few that go on for the music. So, and then auto, of course, will just do its thing. There's other modes. So you have lots and lots of color modes, which is kind of cool. I think this would probably be best suited mounted where you can see it. I haven't picked where I'm going to put it, but this will give me an option. So let's turn it on and see how it sounds. Well, there's definitely a sound difference between having a sub and not having a sub. All right, thanks for watching this far. So you've seen everything. You've seen it unboxed, you've seen me install it, and you've heard it. What's my review? Thing sounds great. I would definitely recommend it. It fills that void, and for the form factor it comes in, being an integrated amp and speaker, thing sounds phenomenal. But there are some things that I don't love about it, and I want to share them with you. First, the thing that kind of makes me a little nervous is when you power it, the lights will stay on unless you turn them off with the remote. You turn them off, should be good, right? But I don't really like that. I wish there was a control to turn the lights on and off so you don't have to worry about that, right? Or if the lights would only come on when the remote, the blue wire, gives it power, that would be cool. But anyway, you know, just wanted to throw that out there. The other thing that I don't love about it is there's this little bass control remote. You put an RJ11 cable into it, and then you could turn it up and down. What I found is this does control the bass, but it doesn't allow you to turn it all the way up. So I tried to plug it in when it was all the way down. I tried plugging it in when it was all the way up. At any rate, I would turn it up and it will only go so far. I unplugged it, you get a little more oomph out of it. So I wouldn't recommend using this, not at all, okay? But it does sound great without it. You don't need it. Just because if you want bass, you just turn it up or control it in your head unit. So those are, you know, really the only two things I didn't necessarily love about it. Other than that, the thing rocked out pretty good. So I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, click that like button and consider subscribing. I do a lot of these reviews and I try to give you my honest opinion when they're all done. So thanks for your time and take care.